Imagine living in a state of complete serenity, where no harsh word, no adversity, not even the chaos around you can shake your inner peace. That's the true goal of Stoicism, to turn your mind into an unshakable fortress. It's not about running from the world or avoiding problems. It's about facing them with courage, clarity, and wisdom. It's about taking firm action, even when everything around you feels unstable. After all, the external world holds no power over you if your mind is strong. How many times have you lost your peace over something small? Or let someone's attitude steal your happiness? The truth is, reacting impulsively only weakens you. When you learn not to be affected by everything, you discover a silent and powerful strength. The power to control your emotions and actions, just like the great Stoic philosophers taught. It's not what happens that matters. It's how you choose to interpret it. Being unshakable is an art, a skill you can learn, a muscle you can and should train. And that's exactly what you'll learn now. In this video, we're going to explore 8 Stoic lessons to help you build a strong, steady, and resilient mind. Each lesson is a key piece of your mental armor, preparing you to face any of life's storms with serenity. If that's the kind of strength you're seeking, you're in the right place. Before we begin, don't forget to leave a like so this content can reach more people. Subscribe to the channel to keep growing with us. And drop the secret phrase of the day in the comments. Nothing will shake me. That's your declaration of commitment to your evolution. Now we're ready. Let's do this together. Lesson 1. The invisible shield. The greatest battle you'll ever face isn't out in the world. It's inside your own mind. More often than not, we are our own worst enemies. We let negative thoughts, uncontrolled emotions, or distorted interpretations take over our day and steal our peace. But the Stoics teach us a powerful truth. The source of suffering isn't in the events, but in how we interpret those events. Epictetus said, "It's not things that disturb us, but the judgments we make about them." With this perspective, we begin to build what I call the invisible shield, a mental filter that separates what deserves your attention from what should be ignored. Think of a recent situation where you lost your calm. Maybe it was a critique at work, a thoughtless comment on social media, or an argument with someone close to you. What really got to you? The event itself, or the way you interpreted it? That's where the construction of your shield begins. The first step is to understand that you are the guardian of your mind. You decide what gets in and what stays out. This shield isn't built overnight. It's forged day by day in the habit of observing your thoughts and questioning them. For example, if someone insults you, you have 2 options. 1. Absorb the words and let them wound you. 2. Or realize that words only have power if you give them power. An insult is just noise. It only enters your mental fortress if you open the door. Another key: control and acceptance. You don't control what happens, but you do control how you respond. And once you understand that, you realize that peace is always available, even in the middle of chaos. Visualize this shield now. It doesn't just block attacks, it reflects them. They bounce off and cause no harm. In practice, this means not identifying with your thoughts or emotions. You are not the anger. You are not the fear. You are the observer behind it all. And when you observe with curiosity, not judgment, you create space to choose your response. And that choice is what defines your strength. To start applying this lesson right now, when something irritates you, ask, "Is this within my control?" When a negative thought appears, question it, Is this reality, or just my interpretation? When someone tries to provoke you, breathe and tell yourself, nothing enters my mental fortress without my permission. Over time, this shield grows stronger, and before you know it, nothing gets to you, because the real enemy was never what happened. It was what you believed about what happened. And now, you're ready to win this inner battle. Shall we move on to the next lesson? Lesson 2. The Master of Silence. In today's world, everyone wants to speak. To reply, react, give their opinion, fight back. It's like silence has become a sign of weakness. But the Stoics saw it differently. Silence is a form of power. You know why? Because silence isn't the absence of a response. It's the presence of self-control. Imagine someone provoking you publicly, insulting you, trying to push your buttons. What's the usual reaction? Lash out, shout, defend yourself. But what if you chose not to react? What if, instead of playing the game, you simply took a deep breath and stayed silent? That, my friend, is mastering your mind. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Choosing silence is the clearest way to show that you are in control. It's a way of saying, without using words, "Your provocations don't move me." And that gesture, as simple as it may seem, completely disarms the other person. When someone attacks expecting a reaction, and gets nothing, no anger, no defense, it's like throwing water on a fire. The conflict dissolves. But let's be clear, silence isn't cowardice. It's not avoiding confrontation. It's not running away from important conversations. Silence is the space between impulse and response. It's the time you give yourself to think clearly, to avoid acting out of anger, to avoid saying something you'll regret later. Think about how many situations you could have avoided if you had just stayed silent. Here's a hard truth. Many times, what you say in the heat of the moment hurts. It causes damage that a simple pause could have prevented. So here's a practical exercise. Next time someone provokes you, or a situation pushes your buttons, take a pause, breathe deeply, and ask yourself, will this response actually solve anything? Will it improve the situation? Or is it just feeding the fire? In many cases, the best response is no response. But silence also serves a deeper purpose, to listen to yourself. In the rush of daily life, it's easy to lose touch with what you truly feel, with what you think, with what you need. Silence creates space for that inner connection. It's where you hear your own conscience, that calm voice that gets drowned out by the noise of the world. Cultivating silence is just as important as any other form of self-care. It's in silence that your mind breathes, your soul rests, and your wisdom grows. So remember, silence is not weakness. It's strategy. It's not passivity. It's mastery. It's not absence. It's full presence. True strength isn't about reacting to everything. It's about knowing you could react, but choosing not to. That's the power of someone who rules over themselves. That's the power of the master of silence. Lesson 3. The art of disregard. Ignore what doesn't matter. Not everything deserves your attention. That's one of the simplest and hardest truths to live by. We live in a world where everything screams for a reaction. Notifications, criticism, comparisons, gossip, mean comments. And if you try to respond to it all, you'll end up drained, exhausted, empty. Stoicism teaches us that disregarding what is insignificant is an act of wisdom. It's not arrogance. It's not superiority. It's protection. Think of a rock in the middle of a river. It doesn't try to stop the current. It simply stands firm, letting the water flow around it. You can be that rock. Not every provocation deserves a reply. Not every criticism should be absorbed. Not every noise deserves space in your mind. Seneca once said, "Nothing is more worthy of contempt than caring about others' contempt." What others say about you doesn't define you. It's just their opinion, and an opinion is not a fact. How many times have you wasted energy trying to explain yourself to someone who didn't even want to understand? How many times did you dive into a conflict that didn't really matter? That's the kind of drain that intelligent disregard prevents. Ignoring is not running away. It's choosing where your mental and emotional energy goes. Here's a simple practice. Whenever something bothers you, ask, "Will this matter a year from now?" If the answer is no, let it go. Then ask, "Does this actually add value to my life, or is it just taking up space?" If it doesn't add anything, let it pass. Finally, ask yourself, am I reacting to the situation, or to my interpretation of it? This helps you detach from the emotional weight and reclaim your focus. When you ignore what doesn't matter, your mind becomes lighter. Your energy gets directed toward what truly counts. You stop being reactive and start being selective. Epictetus also said, "We cannot control what others do, but we can control how we respond to it." That's the foundation of mental freedom. The art of disregard is this. Don't engage with what doesn't build you. Don't give a stage to what doesn't deserve attention. Don't poison yourself with what was never yours to carry. So practice it every day. Ignore empty provocation. Ignore unnecessary drama. Ignore the opinions of people who don't live your life. You weren't made to fight every battle. You were made to win the ones that truly matter. And for that, learning to disregard the small stuff is one of the greatest signs of true strength. Lesson 4. The Unshakable Horizon. Think beyond the now. What feels unbearable today might be just a distant memory tomorrow. That's one of the most powerful and transformative ideas in Stoicism. When we're in the middle of a problem, it feels like it's going to last forever. The pain, the frustration, the anger, all of it seems endless. But the Stoic sees beyond. They understand that everything is temporary. That today's storm doesn't define tomorrow. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If it's endurable, then endure it." Simple, direct, and profound. The Stoic doesn't ignore suffering. They face it, but with the awareness that it will pass. That everything intense is also impermanent. Think of a storm. While you're inside it, it feels like the world is collapsing. But eventually, the sky clears. The rain stops. Peace returns. That's how life's challenges are too. The secret is to not drown in the present. To remember that this is just a chapter, not the whole story. Here's a simple practice for that. Whenever you're facing a hard moment, ask yourself, will this still matter a year from now? 5 years from now, how will I look back at this? What can I learn from this moment, instead of just suffering through it? This kind of reflection expands your vision. You rise above the storm and get a clearer view of the road ahead. Clarity comes, anxiety fades, and you regain control. The Stoic knows. Emotions are like waves. They come and go. If you learn to ride them, instead of drowning in them, you tap into a strength that no one can take from you. But it takes practice. Moments of meditation, introspection, silence. Sitting with yourself and asking, what purpose does this moment serve on my path? And believe this, what feels like a burden today might become a gift tomorrow. What hurts now may shape you into someone stronger. So think beyond the now. Look past the moment. Visualize your future and see how even this challenge, as hard as it feels, might be shaping you into someone more resilient, more aware, more whole. Life moves in cycles. And just like the horizon never disappears, your inner strength never does either. It just needs to be remembered, especially on the cloudy days. Lesson 5. The weight of expectation. Let go of the need for control. How many times have you felt disappointed because something didn't go the way you expected? Maybe it was a promotion that didn't happen, a person who didn't reciprocate, or a plan that seemed perfect and still fell apart. Was it the world's fault, or the expectations you created? Stoicism teaches us a liberating truth. Most of our suffering comes from trying to control what was never in our hands to begin with. We plan, we visualize, we anticipate, and when reality doesn't follow the script in our head, frustration sets in. But here's the shift in mindset. You don't control the outcomes. You control your actions. Asterisk, asterisk. Seneca said that the wise live in harmony with what's within their control, and accept with calmness what's not. Let me give you an example. You can control the effort you put into your work, but not the recognition you'll receive. You can treat someone kindly, but not how they'll respond. You can give your best, but not guarantee the result. And that's okay. Once you truly understand this, you begin to live lighter, with more peace, because you stop carrying the weight of things that were never yours to hold. Marcus Aurelius had a morning ritual. He reminded himself daily that he would encounter rude, ungrateful, and envious people, not out of pessimism, but realism. He prepared himself emotionally so the world wouldn't catch him off guard. That way, he protected his inner peace from unnecessary disappointment. You can do the same. Whenever something feels out of your hands, ask yourself, is this under my control? If yes, give your best. If no, let it go. Let it go consciously. Letting go isn't giving up. It's setting yourself free. Because rigid expectations are like invisible chains. They tie you to a future that may never happen, and worse, they rob you of the present. When you release the need to control everything, something powerful happens. You gain more energy, more focus, more clarity. You stop fighting reality and start flowing with it. So remember this. Peace doesn't come from controlling the world. It comes from mastering how you choose to live in it. And the first step, lay down the weight of your expectations and walk forward lighter. Lesson 6. The power of cold, finding peace in discomfort. Most people run from discomfort, but the Stoic, they lean into it. Because they understand, discomfort is not the enemy. It's the teacher. In Stoicism, discomfort is a training ground, a way to strengthen the mind, the discipline, the soul. Picture a freezing morning. You wake up, and everything in you wants to stay under the covers. But the Stoic gets up, walks straight into a cold shower, not because it feels good, but because they know the value in it. By facing physical discomfort, they remind the mind it doesn't call the shots. They show themselves who's really in control. And it's not just about cold showers. It's about the willingness to face what's uncomfortable, instead of running from it. This builds a kind of mental immunity, a quiet strength that grows over time. And then one day, when life knocks you down unexpectedly, you don't break, because you've trained for this. Seneca once said, "We should prepare for the worst, not out of fear, but as a strategy." It's like an athlete training with heavier weights than they'll lift on game day. When the real challenge comes, it feels lighter. The same principle applies to emotional discomfort, arguments, criticism, rejection, loss. You don't need to avoid pain. You need to learn from it. In practice, that can be simple. Try fasting. Push yourself in a tough workout. Give up a comfort for a day. Take a cold shower. Stay in silence instead of running to distraction. Small doses of discomfort, done intentionally, train your mind for life's bigger tests. And here's what you start to realize. You need far less than you thought. You don't depend on the external nearly as much as you imagined. Discomfort teaches presence. When you're in it, you're not lost in the past or anxious about the future. You're here, fully, and that is powerful. You begin to see that discomfort doesn't destroy you. It reveals you, and peace. It's not the absence of pain. It's the ability to stay grounded even when pain shows up. So the next time something makes you uncomfortable, face it. Don't run. Don't numb it. Ask, what can this teach me? Because the more you expose yourself to discomfort, the more you expand your zone of power. And in the end, you'll see, the cold isn't the enemy. It's the fire that forges who you were born to be. Lesson 7. The power of indifference. Not everything is about you. Not everything that happens is about you. Not every comment is an attack. Not every action from others carries a hidden message meant to hurt you. But we often believe it does. This is one of the mind's most toxic habits, taking everything personally. Someone doesn't reply? You assume you did something wrong. Someone's rude? You think it's aimed at you. Someone criticizes you? You take it in like it's the absolute truth. But here's the reality. Most people are simply reacting to their own chaos, their pain, their internal mess. Like Seneca said, we suffer more in imagination than in reality. You don't suffer because of what happened. You suffer because you believed it was about you. And that's where the power of indifference comes in. In Stoicism, indifference doesn't mean apathy. It's not coldness. It's clarity. It's the ability to stay calm, to not react emotionally to everything, to protect your peace from things that don't deserve your energy. Indifference is the art of observing, without absorbing, of realizing that most things simply don't deserve a reaction. Want a real example? Someone provokes you online, criticizes, attacks, tries to drag you into drama. You have two choices. 1. React. Fight. Get caught in the noise. 2. Breathe. Ignore. Keep moving in peace. Most of the time, the second path is the wisest and the strongest. Because while they expect fire, you give them silence. While they crave chaos, you offer stillness. And that inner stillness, no one can take it from you. So how do you build practical indifference? First, remember, other people's behavior says more about them than it does about you. Second, stop reacting immediately. When something bothers you, pause and breathe. Third, ask yourself honestly, is this really worth my energy? More often than not, it's not. Indifference is a filter. Noise stays out. Only what matters gets in. You don't need to respond to everything. You don't need to explain yourself all the time. You don't need to carry the weight of someone else's chaos. The Stoic is a watcher, not a sponge. They don't absorb everything. They choose what's worth their time. And the rest, they let go. The world will keep being loud. People will keep being imperfect. But you don't have to get lost in it. Because indifference is an inner wall. And when it's solid, nothing unworthy can break through. Lesson 8. The poison of comparison. Focus only on your own path. Comparison is a silent poison. It eats away at you from the inside, without you even realizing it. It all starts innocently. You see someone achieving a goal, posting a victory, living what looks like a perfect life. And then, Without meaning to, you start asking yourself, why haven't I gotten there yet? What's wrong with me? Am I falling behind? But here's the truth. You're comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's spotlight. Stoicism teaches that every person has their own rhythm, their own path, their own challenges. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Do not waste what you have by desiring what you do not." That quote is a direct reminder. When you compare yourself, you disconnect from your true self. You ignore everything you've already accomplished. Forget the battles you've fought and won, and start measuring your worth with someone else's ruler. But that ruler was never made for you, because no one has your story. No one has been through what you've been through. No one has felt what you've felt. So why live like your journey is supposed to be the same as everyone else's? A Stoic doesn't live looking side to side. They look inward and ask themselves, am I a little better than I was yesterday? If the answer is yes, that's progress, and progress is all that matters. Here's a simple exercise. Next time you feel envy or frustration when you see someone else's success, stop, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what do I already have in my life that I'm grateful for? Comparison only thrives where recognition is absent, and where there is gratitude, it cannot grow. Remember, you're not in a race with anyone. The only valid competition is with your yesterday's self. When you compare, you get distracted. But when you focus on your path, you become empowered. The neighbor's grass might look greener, but maybe it's artificial. Or maybe you just haven't watered your own in a while. Focus on tending to your own garden, your process, your truth. Because peace doesn't come from being better than others. It comes from being true to who you are and who you're becoming. At the end of the day, the only path you need to follow is yours.